Chapter 31, Section 12, Ebola. Now remember, this chapter is about person-to-person diseases, bacterial, viral, fungal, whatever. So it seems to be hopping around a lot, but you got to remember that's the theme. It's not focusing on viruses, it's not focusing on bacteria, infections of the liver, infections of the digestive system. It's what's passed around. What can I get from you? What can you get from me? Well, that's why Ebola is now one of them. Ebola, while it may have originated in monkeys and then somehow got over to us, um, it's now person to person. This is the primary way that we spread it and we get these epidemics, these outbreaks. Technically, it's referred to as Ebola hemorrhagic fever. Ebola is the area it was first identified in Africa. It is a filovirus. Okay, filoviruses do not have their capsid is more of a helical. They look like filaments. They take on certain shapes. Shepherd's crook and some of these different viruses. Negative strand RNA virus. So take that what you will. Direct contact with body fluids. They think the reservoir is bats or monkeys. I've read both depending upon which textbook, which primary literature you want to read. How did we get exposed? Probably somebody was out, captured something wild animal, was butchering it. And as they're, hack and slash with the knife, the machete, they nicked themselves as they were wrist deep, slaughtering, what was going to be tonight's dinner. Intermingling of blood into their cut, got the blood of the bat, the monkey, whatever. And what causes the monkey, the bat, maybe a mild disease in us, causes a hemorrhagic fever. Or maybe it causes hemorrhagic fever in them, but we didn't recognize it, or they didn't recognize it at the time. Their cut slack, whatever, didn't got into them. And now is introduced to human population. So this is one of the viruses. They take on this, what they call a shepherd's crook. This is not really a very good picture. This is the picture in the textbook, so that's why I'm showing it to you. But this one long helical structure, capsid. Some of them will take on different spiral shapes. A shepherd's crook, or almost to me when I look at it, it looks like somebody's really funky cursive L shape. And this is where you see on the nightly news and whatnot, especially a couple of years when they had that Ebola outbreak in Africa, and those people flew back to the U.S. and everyone's freaking out, and those nurses are saying they know better. Yeah, it pisses me off. PPE, more than what you do in lab, not just a lab coat. You have the full body suit to make sure that. Got to remember, the patients with this, a hemorrhagic fever. They are leaking blood products from every pore in their skin, from every orifice of their body. They are bleeding out. Their eyes, their ears, their nose, their mouth, urethra, the vagina, the the anus. They're sweating it out. Okay? They basically, every capillary bed in their body is bursting. They are bleeding out through their skin. From their, so all of this, plus the urine, the feces is coming out all at once, projectile vomiting, stuff splattering everywhere. That's why you'll see workers, the aid workers are dressing up gloves, full body suit. They'll have mask, goggles, face shield, the works. In the African hot summers to boot. Problem is, this has been targeted by nature in certain parts of Africa that are harder to get to. We haven't seen a pandemic of this because it's hitting in parts of Africa that are a little hard to get to, thus they're hard to get out of. When people are sick, they're in their village. The majority of the village will get sick. Of those people who get sick, a minority will die. This is not a 100% everybody who gets sick dies type of disease. No. Burns itself out in that area. It may spread to neighboring villages, and if the villages are close enough, it may spread more faster. If there's a city nearby, which I think in the last one, 2019, it was nearby a city, so the villages that got hit, it spread to there, to the small African cities. But the way it got out was the stupid aid workers, as I just mentioned. They hopped on planes. They went home. I don't want to be here for this. I don't feel good. I don't feel safe. They didn't quarantine like they should. So this is one that burns itself out very, very quickly. This is a very acute disease. Okay, this is not a slow chronic burn like we've seen in other human diseases. It is easily transmittable. So people there know they've had it thumped into their heads due to public education campaigns. Somebody's sick, hands off. Now, it is part of the culture there in the different, African nations, different African cultures. Somebody's sick, you don't make decisions, you just do for them. That's part of their cultures. And that was something they're having to try to tell them, okay, step back a bit, step back a bit. Yes, you want to take care of them. Yes, that's part of the thing. They're mommy, they're daddy. That's who you do. That's what you do. But if you're going to do it, you got to take these precautions first. And if you're doing it, even though you're taking these precautions, you need to take further precautions and stay away from other people. So morbidity is high. Mortality, while high, it's not crazy high. Morbidity, how many people get sick? Mortality, how many people die? Morbidity is very high. It's easy to get. It does spread very quickly in given villages and households and villages. But the mortality rate is not 100%. Everybody who gets sick does not die. I forget the percentage, but it's less than 50%. So, which is still high, which is still crazy. But it is not, oh my God, it is guaranteed I will be dead.